Ryan, it's not every single day that we can say a safety is worthy of maybe getting picked in the top 5. Could Malaki Starks of Georgia, could he be that guy? I know that we're both really high on him. Is he worth it? Do you think he should go that early?
I would take him that early. I don't think the NFL is necessarily going to take him that early. But when I look at this player, Joe, I mean, when you talk about the elite players potentially in the 2025 NFL draft, I don't think there's a conversation that can be had without Malaki Starks. Incredibly athletic, incredibly experienced, really just a sensational football player that's going to go very high in this draft, if not top 10, very shortly after.
I think with him, what makes him so impactful at the next level and why he fits into that category of at least being a top 10 pick, like we've seen with, Jamal Adams is one of the few guys that was worthy of going in that spot. His capability to be a coverage eraser. That's what I think makes him just so gifted as a prospect, that he can run and turn and run and track with guys so easily in coverage as if he were a corner, but also have the range to cover sideline to sideline. There is so much to get out of this kid. Not just the normal, he's going to play over the top, he's going to play free safety. A good defensive coordinator is going to figure out how to deploy him, and to deploy him to a degree that he is extremely, extremely disruptive on a snap-to-snap basis.
I'll illustrate it this way, because I agree completely, and I think there's a versatility aspect that you don't often see with a player like Malaki Starks. There is at least one NFL team, a scouting department that I've talked to, that has a first-round grade on Malaki Starks as a cornerback, as an outside cornerback, even though he doesn't play outside cornerback. He is a true safety that comes down into the box. He can play in the slot. This is what we always talk about, this multiplicative type of players in the back end that can do a little bit of everything. Whether I want Malaki Starks to play center field, too high, come down in the box, play man-to-man, play short zone, whatever you need him to do. And he's a pretty dang good open field tackler as well. Like, he doesn't miss a ton of tackles either. So when you look at his full coverage profile, there is not a role that he can't play in the back end. There's going to be some teams that view him as an outside corner. There's going to be some that view him as a nickel. There's going to be some that view him as a safety. There's going to be some that view him as everything. That's the beauty of a guy like a Malaki Starks, a player that can truly do everything on the back end.
This isn't a comparison one-to-one because no one compares to Kyle Hamilton, but think back to that draft. I think a lot of fan bases look back and think to themselves, why didn't we take Kyle Hamilton in the top 10? Why didn't we take him in the top 5? And we see to me. Exactly. We talked about him a ton on our show and us doing our work together. We talked about a lot of, hey, he's freaky rare and he's going to be able to do a million different things for your defense if you deploy him in various roles to create confusion. And he's been arguably the best safety in the NFL since he's jumped in. Malaki Starks can be that, where you can utilize him in all those different spots where you just talked about across a defense. And that gets in the head of a quarterback. That gets in the head of an offensive coordinator of like, okay, we got to know where 24 is. We got to know what he's doing because he could come out of nowhere. He could come off the edge and he could be blitzing. He could be playing in the box and stopping the run, or he could come out of nowhere and make a play on the football. So that, to me, don't overthink this, NFL teams. Take him as early as you can. Instead, we're probably going to watch him go pick 14 or 18 or something stupid because the NFL doesn't value safeties.
Well, and you know how this process works. We're going to get super hyperbolic on the couple little nitpicky things as far as finding the weaknesses. I remember when we did this with not me and you.
It's already happening.
It happens every single cycle. I mean, I even remember like when Andrew Luck was coming out and people were just like inventing things to try to find a hole in his game. For Malaki Starks, I think if there is things that you're going to get a little nitpicky on, I do think the angles of pursuit can improve at times. I do think that he can react a little bit quicker in deep zone at times, but it's very nitpicky, Joe. Like, it's stuff that is just going to continue to improve as he gets better at coaching on the next level. He really is a rare player in this class, in a class that I think is a little bit underwhelming in certain aspects. I do think that we have a couple players that I would put in the rare category, and I think that Malaki Starks is one of them.
You highlighted the singular weakness, though, that he just needs to improve his angles. There's a couple of times, and he's a younger player. He's a true junior. It's going to happen where you have these guys that are still really learning how to cut down on tackling angles and to be able to make plays and not to allow guys to separate from them. But he's a good athlete. He's able to make up for it. at times. Folks, let us know. Do you agree with us? Do you think that Malaki Starks should be a top 5 pick? Let us know in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll talk to you later.